Alright, hello. Dastardly, how are you doing? I was running into some technical issues there. I'll show you in a minute. So let's just get the guitar. Right. Yeah. Hi, Sean. Right, so, yeah, what it was is the Parallax plugin, which you use on bass, isn't loading up on the project suddenly for absolutely no reason whatsoever. So the bass bit's dry of this guitar, so I've got this guitar sound. If you can hear, has like a pretend bass thing. So I've got a few things on here. So I've got the that guitar bass, which I call. I've got the usual lead sound. Oh, just trying to warm the fingers up. Right, so that's the lead sound, just my usual Soldano. I've got the kind of clean. Trying to warm these hands up. What else have I got? I've got a crystal. It's got to have some crystal, I think. Right, okay, so that's all of that stuff, and I think we're going to start with some guitar today. So there's a bit of a riff I had the other day. I must remember to tune. So right. Tempo right. Let's try 100. Right, let's flick over to, so I think that's the fingers warmed up. Oh, and then the reason, just so you know, the reason that I've actually got the guitar stuff in actually in the template now is because I was looking at my addiction score, which was actually dropping a bit, despite it being very high. Because I'm going live, I noticed it was dropping, so I thought, right, I need to bring something in to keep me interested. And this is very important. I mean, you don't necessarily want to, like what some people do, like with a template, is like completely change everything and rewire the whole studio, which you don't want to be doing. So basically what I decided to do was, just from an older template, I had this kind of guitar beats plus 3 thing, but it had guitar which I was using for a while, so I just decided to pull in the guitar element and put it into this project. Okay. Oh, this is the thing with guitars though, I can just waste time fixing something then. Let's just get on. Okay, great. First bit done. So this is where I'll find the timing's a bit crap because I'm recording straight into the project. get something in. Okay. Okay, right, let's find, see if we can get like a bit of a hook going. Okay. let's get this into here. Right, so I've got to make sure these get out of the way. Okay. And we'll record it in. Okay. Right, let's have a look. Right, well, we've got up to 2 minutes of something. That's alright. I'll just try and get some more dynamics out of this and then move on to something else. Don't need it. Cool. now we have a splurge. Right, so I'm going to save that. Right, let's reboot another project. So it's going to go quiet, guys, because I want to move on to another idea. Right, shame about that parallax plugin. I'm just going to try something. I'm just going to try the latency and just reboot this project. Because that was the one thing I changed. Right, okay, and then let's just reboot this. Right, okay, doesn't seem to be working. Fine. Right, splurge number 2. I'll just check for questions. Hi Cammy, how you doing? You've not even been to bed. Wow. KDG, how you doing? Right, cool. $1 tuna. Right. Any questions so far? Alright. Gonna go again. Alright. Oh, shame that parallax isn't working. Never mind. Yeah, I'm good. Alright, okay. Get some proper drums in here. Keyboard stopped working again. Technical problems today. That's better. Let's see if we get away with the timing on that. If not, I'll just do the latency trick. Okay, so let's use proximity. This is something I quite like to do. So I'll just get a part and just use the bass line, just create a melody out of it. Okay. So let's try swing here. So this is that, I'm just looping that very first chord or one of the chords in that progression, and then I'm just going to try and put a bass line against it. And it's just that thing of, so I remain in discovery mode. So I'm finding out something rather than trying to design something from like total nothing. Where have you gone? That's really interesting. Right, let's try that again. I have to draw it in. So. Something like that. Right, let's put something vaporwave-ish sounding on it. Forgot. Right, need to unlock that. Forget that idea. I'll just get a background. Right, okay, let's get it down. Should we get that out of the way? Okay. Idea number 2. In the bag. I'll stick a few. Alright, yes, it's got some crashes in there. Right, and there we go. Right, let's have a look. So I'll just give this a name. There we go, future self. Right, let's have a look at the chat. Okay. Hi, Joey. All right, guys. So, is there any questions? So that was an interesting session. So I felt more splurge-like. I was very much in the moment. That's why I wasn't chatting too much, because I was really kind of in the zone. So there was a real good skill to challenge ratio there. So I brought in, obviously I had to play a little bit of live guitar and stuff like that. So I kind of had that to immediately focus me in. And guitar's a great thing, isn't it? Because it's going to get you into flow, because you've got that extra sensory information. So you've got, you know, plectrum in your hand, you're hitting strings, so you're feeling like vibrations, and if you focus on those, it tends to quieten down any sort of background negative narrative that you have when you're producing, and just allows you to kind of just get on with what's there. And again, I was quite aware of not starting a track off with a background straight away, but using other instruments as something to play against, and just quickly editing them, then deleting them like I did on that guitar. So on this, the first part of the progression, I just used that E minor 9 chord, and then played a different bass line over that, and then removed it, and then put something else there, put that melody in. The other interesting thing about this session is that I was mindful about was actually I was asking myself the question of what music do I actually need in place to be able to make a judgment later. I mean, especially this last track, I could have just gone in and smashed the whole thing out very, very quickly. You know, I could have had it all done in I've probably finished this track in 4 hours or something, and then just mix it and it would be ready. But what I want to do is, if I do that, then the edit is going to come in at a very early stage, and I may start going into a design. Diva. I'm using Diva. Oh, but I'm using I'm using the Tal Juno 106. It's the LX Uno. It's called. And that's just, there's loads of different like Juno emulations, but that one just happens to be my favourite. So I've tried a few, the Roland one I've got loads of different ones actually, but that's the one I just seem to take to, and it's got like a bigger interface and stuff. That, and I use also the Tal for the bass, the SH101. I've actually got like a miniature hardware SH101, and I really like the sound of that. But the SH101, because I'm thinking of the Juno and the SH101, they actually are important band members, so I give them upgrades and stuff, and literally that SH101 is always on the same bass patch, and I just modify that bass patch to fit with the music I'm doing. So it's that kind of philosophy of like, I've got this sound, how do I make this sound fit with the music that's there? And that's very important, because what you need to do is you need to ask yourself, to be in that discovery mode, what is the music asking me to do? All right, not like kind of what I wanted to do. When it's like what I wanted to do, that means the channels of creativity narrow down, and you miss out on other really valuable opportunities that could be there. I always say that, like, that little story about, especially with me, like listening to like house music, tech house music, and hearing all these absolutely like crazy weird sounds and going, well, how did they think of that? That's like, I'd never think of that. How do you design something? It must be a design aspect. There must be a sound design. How do you use it in the track? And the fact of the matter is that didn't happen. What actually happened is the producer found something that was interesting and brought it into the studio and responded to it, and it was all design. That's how that kind of happens. So always design, and you find that you'll come up with like really interesting, crazy things that you never thought you would ever think of. And the truth of the matter is you didn't think of it. It was just there. But where do ideas come from? They have to come from somewhere. They don't come from absolutely nothing. An idea comes from, it comes from the past, doesn't it? And creativity comes from the past, and it also lives in limitations as well. So, and not massive past, not your childhood, but, a very close future, isn't it? It could be a conversation I've had with the missus, I could have heard my child singing a tune and then not quite heard what the words were, and like got a melody and thought, oh, that's interesting, I'll do something like that. Or, so you're discovering all the time, yeah. Actually, I do have like a discovery workshop planned, which I might do with anyone who's interested. We could jump on a Zoom call, but it would require you to free write, and I don't know if anybody's done any free writing, but you'd need, it's not very rock starish or shred like. Actually, you get to shred with a pen and paper, and I would ask you these questions, and you could just free write on them and see what you come up with. And I just time your writing, and you've got to write as much as you possibly can in like 2 minutes on each question. And that tends to like firm up in people's ideas, because the problem is like when when you're stuck and you're not producing a lot of music because you can't get the idea out of your head, it is quite difficult to unwind that, and to get the discovery going. But then also you've got the order of decisions that are sometimes like completely the wrong way around. So, for example, I don't, like, I haven't done any mixing, have I? I've, like, nobody, like, I haven't really done anything. Occasionally I might pull an EQ and it's already set and I put it in. But I'm not going down a mixing rabbit hole. Like, one of the worst things people do is like start making 8 bars and then mixing it when they haven't finished a track. Imagine the time you're wasting, right, in your life mixing something you're not going to release. So there has to be a system where we can do music, get the vibe, feel really good about it, okay, and then just make the mix decision at the end. And the good thing about this is it's amazing how little mixing you do if your idea's okay produced. You just get the vibe. I've I've released stuff, right, and I've like not mixed it. It's just it sounded right. I've also released stuff, right, where it sounded amazing, right. And I thought, well, okay, this is too easy, right? There must be something wrong. And then I've gone and like soloed every track. Yeah, I found a bit of bass rumble or something like that, which I couldn't hear. Because I think when we're mixing, we've got to mix as listeners, haven't we? So then what I've done is I've soloed stuff, gone and looking for trouble. Then I've like kind of done something. Then it's like, oh, the vibe's gone. What am I going to do now? And then all the faders have come down, and then I've completely clinically mixed a track, right, and lost all of the character out of it. And then released it and gone like, you know what? I've just done like a really polished mix, right? That's technically correct. That's absolutely boring. Like, the other one had so much life and energy. Where's the energy gone and the inspiration? And that's happened most times. I've pulled faders down and gone in and done a mix. I've lost some sort of energy because you're just clinically cleaning things up. I mean, obviously there's certain things to do, and like with this mix template, behind the scenes in it, there is like a mixing bit. So a lot of the tracks here, I'm not mixing like chopping an EQ into something, because like, if I was to filter low end off something, that can be like key dependent, especially in the low end, because what you don't want to do is have like a low pass filter set too high, and then you play the note G0, and then it's cutting it off. It's cutting into the fundamental frequency. So I don't do really stuff like that, because I can just do that at the end. But what I do is I like this idea of dynamic mixing. So I'm using dynamic plugins, and like one of the best ones is that Waves Factory. What's it? Spacer, track spacer, and that just sits there on the bass set. And then when the kick and whatever drums I chuck at it, doesn't matter what key they're in, it's just responding to it dynamically. So it's kind of carving the room out, which means I can have a loud bass and I can have a loud kick, and I've got like lots of energy there, and it's dealt with at a level where it's not going to get in the way of me actually doing creative ideas. And then I do have some stuff. I mean, obviously I have VCC on every channel, which gives me that console sort of feel. It makes things sound fatty, but I just kind of leave that set as one thing and then fiddle with that later on, which usually is about 1 second job. Dynamic Tim, yeah, so dynamic mixing, what an interesting thing. And it's certainly a way forward, because I'm all about saving time and getting the ideas down and keeping the inspiration going, and that's like very, 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 very important, isn't it, when we think about it. So yeah, so that was a pretty good session. There's lots I'm gonna, after this session I'll be doing a review. Wins, problems. I love problems now, and options are way forward. And there'll be a few things in that. The free write's great, because I'll just time myself 5 minutes and I'll start writing, and it'll probably start as, I felt really awkward and uncomfortable, didn't know what to do. Then I started playing, I felt it was out of time, the computer went, and it'll just be drivel that comes out, and then actually some sense will happen, and then that'll come into like really good, that'll happen for a bit, right? And then I'll just, don't care what I'm writing, there'll be all sorts of crap, and then I'll stop the free write after 5 minutes, right? And then I'll just quickly read through it, time about 2 minutes, and then pull out the binary concrete actions. So there'll be things like fix that parallax bass guitar, like guitar, bass, or do something else, and there'll be an alternative. So there'll be concrete actions there that that will develop the template, and at the end of the session, it's a review on sort of like the splurges. So this template that I've got is ever evolving and moving with what I'm doing, and because I'm incrementally moving, it's making my life easier, but it's also allowing me to be more creative, and therefore more in touch with who I am. So when I'm in flow, that's as close as to the feeling of who I am. And interesting, like when we play guitar and we practice, and I really like, and it's almost like meditation. All right, so I've been doing. There was that really good video, YouTube video with Tom Quayle, and he's showing you this. So just doing hammer-ons without any pull-offs, Now that's great from a sensory point of view, because I can just do that and really observe the feeling of the strings, where they're hitting on my fingers. And you just get into flow with it. Or take one of your licks, So yes, does that any sort of sensory information cuts down that narrative network. Negative narrative that you have in your head. Alright. So, has anybody got any questions before I go? Or is that all cool? So tomorrow, guess what? It will be another live stream. Because what day is it? It's Tuesday today, isn't it? So we've got another splurge session tomorrow. We've got the last one, and then I've got to somehow fit in some sort of listening session. I will end up doing it. Right. Okay, this is what we're going to do. I'll put it up on my Instagram. We're going to do a listening session tonight. Okay. Oh, thanks, KDG. Right, so there's going to be a listening session tonight where I'm going to have a listen to some of the stuff that I've been knocking out in the mornings. God knows what I'll be thinking. There'll be some like absolutely horrific examples, but I'll do it. Basically, I'll go on Instagram to do this, and it'll be direct audio, and I think I'm going to try and aim for about 8:30, thereabouts, for half an hour. I'll quickly go on and have a listen to these. If not, I'll find another time. It might be Thursday, but we'll be splurging on Wednesday. But I do need to do that session because we need to do discovery sessions starting Thursday. Right, okay, I'll work it out. All right, guys. So it's been a blast, and I'll catch you all tonight and tomorrow morning, same time, 5:30. All right. Oh, it's also cool to see a whole different side of you too. Yeah. Oh, thanks, KDG. Yeah. All right then. Cool. Catch you guys later.